Hi, welcome to another Miss Jenny's ReVideo where I, Miss Jenny, will recommend something. We're gonna talk about Penelope. You guys ever hear about Penelope? No? Cool. Let me tell you about it. It stars everybody. Christina Ricci is the star. It has James McAvoy in it. Reese Witherspoon is in this. Catherine O'Hara is in this. Even Peter Dinklage is in this. He's so good as well. This is a modern day fairy tale based on a book of the same name. So there's this family called the Wilherns, and the one member of this very upper class, what we call blue blood family, fell in love with one of the servants, and that was looked down upon. So he realized how not okay that was, what foolish mistake he had made, and married somebody else, causing the servant Claire to jump off a cliff. And later that night, her mother, the town witch, comes and places a curse on the Wilhern family, stating that the next girl born into the name will be born with a pig face, and only until one of their own loves her for who she is will the curse be broken. It's curse. It's pig face. So every marriage into the Wilhern blue blood family has been led with fear that the next born could be a girl and have this pig snout and pig ears. But as luck would have it, the next was a son, and then the next was a son, and then the next was a son, and so on and so forth, until one day a girl was born, but no one knew that it wasn't a Wilhern. It was really a Smith. So they all thought the curse wasn't real until one day Penelope came. Penelope was born a healthy baby girl with a pig snout and pig ears, and her parents lost their minds. Catherine O'Hara plays the mom, and she couldn't handle it. So she was like, okay, we gotta break this curse. It's gonna be great. You're not the curse. You're you. Somebody's gonna break that curse and come and save you and whatnot. So she kind of brings Penelope up in solitude and keeps her away from society, but curates her to be her own person and have all these interests. So she learns how to play piano, and she knows French, and she's kind of the perfect bride to be, but she's very independent thinking, and she pretty much loves books. So the way that the art design in this movie is very whimsical and very fairy tale like, with hints of realism. Her bedroom, where she spent all of her life, just looks like a little girl grown up in this mad world, like a Alice in Wonderland through shattered glass thing. What? So her mom hires this I guess she's not event planner, what is it? A matchmaker. who like finds blue bloods to bring in and kind of meet with Penelope, but they never see her because she's behind glass and they speak through a speaker, which is okay. It never works out because when they first see her, they kind of run and jump out the window. If you don't like the way somebody looks, don't run away and jump out the window. Don't do that. That really hurts a person's feelings. So they're ongoing and doing this thing, and then this one guy gets away and he goes screaming to the reporters, she's a pig, she's a monster. And everybody thinks he's crazy because he sounds a little bit crazy. Peter Dinklage plays a journalist who, when the Wilhern family first had Penelope, he like tried to get pictures of the pig child, and he lost his eye to the cause and has been bitter and kind of made a mockery since. So he hears this crazy kid talking about how he saw a pig woman and he's on board and he's like, hey, you're with me, yes. So they come up with a scheme to find a down and out blue blood to kind of sneak into the house and meet Penelope and get a picture and prove that she is real, and they're gonna run with that story and, you know, like journalists do. It's kind of like their version of TMC, I guess. They find this guy played by James McAvoy. And he's totally cute, but he's a down and out, and he has a gambling addiction, and that's no good. And he used to be respectable, so they like convince him to go into the house, and you know, things happen, and like him and Penelope kind of hit it off, and he's very much like, Penelope, you gotta get out there, you gotta like enjoy life and stop hanging out in these walls and like go to the Cloverdilly pub and have a beer on tap and experience the world. And all this kind of happens, and they really bond, you know. But he still hasn't seen her yet. So he comes back day after day after day. Peter Dinklage and the other guy are kind of like, what is taking so long? She revealed herself to me in like a day, and this has been like a week and a half. What are you doing? So she finally comes out of hiding, and he doesn't know what to do. And he just freezes. And no one's ever just done that before. No one's ever just looked at her before, so she runs away. And so he leaves and like gets angry at the journalist and the dumb guy because they made her out to be this like monster of a woman, and she is delightful, and the pig nose really isn't that bad. You kind of get used to it. It's, you know, and she doesn't have fangs. Mr. McAvoy can't undo the curse because there's been a big misunderstanding. So when Penelope's like, just marry me, and if the curse doesn't break, I'll just kill myself. And he's like, I can't. But they don't know why. So he's kicked out, and they're like, never come back. And so Penelope kind of runs away. And she goes out into the world, and she uses this big scarf to cover her face, and she goes to a pub, and she sees a street fair for the first time, and like, the world is this big magical place, and her parents want to find her, but they don't want to find her because they don't want people to know that she's a pig. And there's all this crazy stuff. She's finally out in the world, like experiencing life, and she makes friends, but this whole time she has her face covered up. So she's running away, and her parents finally track her down. She's running away from them, and she can't breathe, and she passes out, and somebody takes her scarf off, and they're like, oh my god, it's Penelope, the pig girl. So now she has all these fans and whatnot, and people are like, oh my god, Penelope, she's great, she's wonderful, everybody loves her. And the evil, like, Edward guy keeps getting in trouble with his, you know, wealthy, established father, who he keeps making these comments to the press that's like that things should be locked up because, you know, he still thinks of her as this monster while the public has fallen in love with her because she's a great person and she just has pig nose. So the solution is that he's going to marry her. So the mom thinks that this is a great idea because it's going to like break the curse or whatever. And Penelope's like, okay, but you can tell she's not happy about it. And James McAvoy is definitely not happy about it. He's gonna beat somebody up. But he doesn't. He does have words though, because he's a gentleman. The wedding's gonna happen. Maybe the wedding doesn't happen because Penelope is like, I don't love him. So Penelope runs away from her own wedding and claims she doesn't love him because she doesn't. He's a horrible human being and she would be making a huge mistake marrying Edward because he is slimeball extraordinaire. She's yelling through the door at her mom and her mom's like, this is all we ever wanted. The curse is finally going to be broken and this whole thing. And she's like, no, I like me how I am. And then whoosh bang, the curse is broken. Surprise, there actually was a curse, and she now has her cute little tiny Christina Ricci nose. It looks so weird after watching an hour of her with this big prosthetic nose. You get used to it being this big old, like, they did a really good job on that prosthetic, by the way. So when she has her little tiny cute little, it's just this little bitty button nose. It's just a little bitty button nose. But, you know, they just always assume that one of their own kind had to be like a blue blood and a marriage type love, but really it just had to be one of their own, and, you know, and then moral of the story and whatnot, love yourself or whatever. So she kind of disappears from the spotlight, and, you know, Halloween comes around and everybody is dressed up as Penelope because Penelope was like, you know, the Lady Gaga of the moment. So everyone is like dressed up as Penelope. She becomes a teacher. This is so silly. She becomes a teacher and all the girls are kind of fighting because they're all dressed up as Penelope, and there's this one girl in the corner who's crying. And she's like, I wanted to be Penelope, but I'm stupid static cling. And she just has socks like taped to her. I don't know why it's so funny to me. Anyway, does she end up with the cutie make hot James McAvoy? Maybe. I don't know. Find out. Watch it. Find out. Does Peter Dinklage get a happy ending? Probably. His character actually does have growth, and all of their characters have growth. And there's a surprise cameo by Russell Brand. And he just is there. And I appreciate that. This is definitely one of those films that I can watch on a loop. It's so good. It really checks that box of fairy tale as well as whimsical, and the cast is just phenomenal, and the comedy is right, and it has a good message, y'all. So, fun fact about this DVD, the special features on this literally is just like a featurette, like the making of, which goes into more detail on the costuming and the artistic design and stuff, and it's really interesting. But the other feature is a sneak peek to the movie Twilight. It's literally just like the first time, that one scene in Twilight where she's like in his room for the first time, they listen to Claire de Lune and whatnot, and then they jump out of the window. That's the scene that they decided was the sneak peek for Twilight, and it was only available on this DVD for like the longest time. So that, you know, is fun. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another Miss Jenny's ReVideo where I recommend a movie. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!